What's going on? It's your boy, Brother Al, and I'm back with another one. And this one is about the importance of men being wise, being smart, and not being naive, not using your youth as an excuse to crash out and to self destruct or to allow other people, other women. Notice I'm not saying, now, this one I'm talking to the women. I'm not saying all women. I'm not saying all. So, women, get that through your skulls. I'm not talking about all women. Listen, a hit dog gonna holler when it's hit. I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. A hit dog is going to holler when it's hit. So if I'm saying something and it's hitting you, and it's making you feel some type of way, it's probably because what I'm saying is describing yourself. So if it doesn't apply, let it fly. If it's look, I'm not gonna get upset at somebody saying all men are broke, all men are ain't nothing, all that. Why? Because I know I'm not broke. I know I'm paid. I know I'm doing good. I know I'm the stuff. So I'm not worried. I'm not gonna get upset about somebody saying that men are this or men are that because I know that it doesn't affect me. I'm not that type of a man. All right. We got to understand that generalities, okay, something else that a lot of women can't stand that men do, or people do, mostly men do, is that we talk in generalities. Everybody deals in generalities. It's not just men. Let me retract that. Everybody deals in generalities. Case in point, you ask a woman what's her preference, and she might say, "Oh, I like black men." Oh, why? Why do you don't like white men? You think that all white men are the same? Look, everybody deals in generalities, okay? Generalities are how we conduct our lives. So it's important for men, especially young men, because we don't have the luxury of saying, I was young, I was dumb, I was naive. When we're in court and we're facing a slammer, we can't go to the judge and be like, I was dumb, I was young, and I was naive. That doesn't work for men. That doesn't work for us. A woman can say, I was coerced. He made me do it. Um, I had no way to escape. I dealt with this for 11 years in this abusive relationship because he love bombed me at first and promised me this career and all of this, that, and the other, and all of that. And that's why I participated in all of these crimes. I'm not really guilty. My man made me do all of this for 11 years. But if I'm a man, I can't say, oh, I was in a situation where I grew up and all of these gang members were around me, Your Honor, and they promised me that I would make all of this money if I did whatever they said. And so that's why for 11 years I went around terrorizing my community and Your Honor, and I was made to, and they they love bombed me with all of these gifts and designer clothes, and you think that that's going to work if I told the judge that as a man? But if I'm a female and I tell the judge the same thing, oh, I was love bombed. I had this romantic relationship where I thought it was going to be so great, and but it turns out that he was really just tricking me and fooling me for 11 years of my life. Look, it doesn't. It works like that for females, but it doesn't work for men. So for men, we gotta hammer down, and we gotta do this stuff with wisdom and knowledge of who you're getting into a relationship with, understanding the female nature, okay, understanding how women act, and as far as how their attraction triggers act, and what is hypergamy, and explaining that hypergamy is women always look for the highest male option available to them. All right. And men had to be aware of that. And you got to be aware of what kind of woman that you're dealing with and who you introduce her to. And are you introducing her to better options than you? Okay. It's nothing. Look, I'm not saying keep your woman sheltered in the house and keep her locked up around all male presence. That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, you shouldn't have a bunch of dudes up in your chick's face. All right, that's just not conducive to a healthy relationship. To always have your woman up in the guy's face, especially guys that are better. Let's be all the way 1,000 guys that are better options than you. I've seen it. I've had other dudes, women up in my face, and they want to get with me because I was the better option. I've seen it, how women operate. Now, again, I'm not saying 100% of every last woman on the planet throughout all the history operates this way. But we have to look at the nature of what we see, the patterns that keep repeating in all of our lives. All right. So it's important for men to understand these things. All right. And it's also important for women to understand how men operate and stop using that excuse. But women going to keep using it. They're going to keep using that excuse. So all I can do is speak to the men and help the men. I can try to help the women, but the women are always going to say is, I was young. I was only 23. I was a 24. I was a 25. I was a 26-year-old kid. I was naive. That's what women are going to constantly say to excuse that bad behavior. But as men, we do not have that luxury. If we go into the courtrooms, if we go into our lives, if we explain that to a woman, she's not going to want to hear that. But that excuse going to work for people like women like Cassie and all of that. That excuse that can work for them. Diddy's probably going to go to jail for life. I don't see how it's a RICO. Not yet. There's still a lot more trial to go, but he's probably gonna be in jail for life from a woman that did the same thing. She was the Bonnie to his Clyde, but yet she's gonna be free as a bird with 30 million or 20 million from him and 10 million from the hotel, and he's gonna be broke, busted, disgusted in jail, rotting away when they both participated and did the same things. Why? Because Cassie can say, "Oh, he made me do it." If it was flip, if it was the other way around, right? And Diddy was the woman and Cassie was the man, Diddy could just as easily say, "Oh, Cassie made me do it," and it would be all the way the other way around. The only difference in the situation is one is a man and one is a woman, and he should have operated a lot more better, smarter, wiser than what he did, and that's why he's in a situation. It's because of him, and that's why I'm telling these men, look, don't be doing all of these crazy sexual acts with these females. You got to conduct yourself as a man with D discipline. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, D discipline. You got to conduct yourself with that. And you can't be doing this whole crazy wild off the chain stuff like hiring out other male hoes or whatever the case may be. As men, we got to be smarter than that. Look at Shannon Sharp. What happened with him? It don't have nothing to do with the woman's age. It don't have nothing to do with the woman's age, because don't get it twisted. Because men, we can't be naive. We got to be smarter than that. We know that older women still be playing the same bull crap. Matter of fact, they're even better at playing this, at getting guys with the bull crap because they're older and more experienced. So we know that older women are even better at finessing and playing the game. All right. So I'm just saying, be wise, be smart in who you choose as your wife. Understand that you don't get the luxury of saying I was young, dumb, and naive like how women get to say. All right. So y'all have a blessed one. Go ahead. I want to know what you think down there in the comments section. All right. I read the comments. I interact. I want to know what you think, and if you don't agree, I want to know that too, and I interact with the comments and all of that. So give me the feedback. Go ahead, like the video. I don't ask for money. I don't ask for you to buy stuff. I just ask for a like, for the support. Go ahead, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications for the newest videos, for the newest content. All right, love y'all. Peace.